Over the weekend, hip-hop legend and Wu-Tang alum, and personally, one of my favorite MCs on the planet, Ghostface Killah dropped his highly anticipated Supreme Clientele 2. Now, just a heads up, this is not going to be an album review. There's plenty of other channels out there where you can get a full review on the album, but after listening to it and sitting with it over the weekend, I think that it warrants a much deeper conversation, and that is, are we putting too much pressure on sequel albums?
I'm on top, on my grind, I'ma always get it.
Now, I admit that sequel albums or part twos to critically acclaimed records do face an uphill battle. A lot of critics and fans, myself included, can sometimes hold them to an unfairly high standard, simply because of their predecessor's success. Now, it's common to hear a sequel album that didn't live up to the original, which leads to widespread disappointment. And sometimes the expectations can be so high that even an album that's good on its own merits can get overshadowed. Sometimes it feels like no matter how hard an artist tries, they're doomed to fail in the eyes of fans who were attached to the first album. The pressure to innovate while staying true to the original work can definitely be overwhelming. But as a fan, is it really unreasonable for me to have certain expectations though? I don't think so. Especially if the artist is making a part two or a direct sequel to a previous body of work. If I go to see a sequel to a movie, I expect some growth and some development of the main character and maybe a new antagonist or a new storyline. But overall, the concept should feel the same. Now, I don't expect artists to sound the same, especially if a lot of time has passed since the last iteration of the album. In Ghost's case, it's been like 25 years since the last Supreme Clientele. But I don't think it's a stretch for me to expect an overall tone or concept to be similar to the previous album, especially with things that artists can control. So for example, like maybe an artist can work with the same producers or producers who have a similar sound to the producers from the first album. So this way there's some cohesion. And shameless plug, some of you may or may not know I'm a hip hop artist myself and I've done this in the past. I have a mixtape series called Superstar Status Part 1 and Part 2. And the overall concept of the Superstar Status mixtape series was me rhyming over hip hop classics while blending it with some original music. On the first Superstar Status, I had a lot more remixes and less original music. And on Superstar Status Part 2, I kept the concept the exact same, but I had more original music and less remixes. I'll be sure to put a link to Superstar Status Part 2 in the description if you guys do want to check that out. As a fan, one of my biggest critiques of sequel albums is a lot of times the production is not as strong. They abandon the concept of the previous body of work, or just overall the tone of the album is completely different, so there's no really strong connection to the other one other than it having the same name. In my personal opinion, this was the case with Supreme Clientele 2, AZ's Do or Die 2, Marshall Mathers LP 2, Meth and Red's Blackout 2, and Extension Level Event 2. And that's just to name a few of them off the top of my head. Those albums received mixed reviews and kind of struggled to match the impact of their predecessors, proving that just because the albums share the same name, success is not always guaranteed. Statistics show that there's a significant drop in critical reception for sequel albums compared to their predecessors. This phenomenon raises questions about artistic growth and fan expectation. Are we expecting too much from sequel albums, or are the artists really falling short? In reality, music is subjective, and ideally, each album should stand on its own. After all, Nas once did say, "They thought I'd make another Illmatic, but it's always forward I'm moving, never backward, stupid, here's another classic." But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me on this discussion. Be sure to share your thoughts about Part 2 albums in the comments. Do you guys agree with me? Also, what are some of your most loved or hated direct sequel albums? I want to hear about those as well. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out this playlist of 5 sophomore albums, not as good as the first. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate y'all. Peace.